Okay, so tonight's speaker is Roshan Vignarajah. There's a rumor that Vetus Lee will be assisting him, so thank you for that. They will be presenting the World Series of Birding. Roshan is a young birder and a member of the Youth Maryland Ornithological Society, or otherwise known as the YMOS. He's a naturalist with a passion for insects, especially fireflies and moths. Since the age of 8, Roshan has been a dedicated birder and a student of nature. He's participated and won the World Series of Birding Middle School Division 3 times and has been captaining the team twice. He's an active birder in Howard County. Do you go to school? He's constantly reporting birds. You must go to school. Both of you go. Yeah. Okay. He's an active birder in Howard County, and his favorite places to birdwatch are the Triadelphia Reservoir, as well as Howard County Conservancy at Mount Pleasant, where you all saw the evening grosbeak and all the other interesting birds last month. Your favorite birds are the Connecticut Warbler, the Cackling Goose, and believe it or not, the rock pigeon. An unusual one. So welcome, Roshan. Welcome, Vetus. Thank you for presenting the World Series of Birding.
Here's your remote. If you click this button, the screen will go black. Yeah, don't press that one. But if you do, just press it again and it'll come back. Okay. Laser pointer forward backwards.
Great. So first we're going to give a little introduction to YMOS, which is the Youth Maryland Ornithological Society. And basically we just have all the young birders in Maryland can come together to go on trips, and it's really the best place for young birders to learn how to identify birds. And we've sent World Series teams to the World Series for, I think, over 30 years in a row. George was one of like 4 people to get the more than 30 years award at the last World Series. And obviously this is all thanks to George Radcliffe, who is our leader and founder. He lives in Cambridge, so if you'll probably see him if you go to Dorchester County. We're gonna ask for some donations first. Because tomorrow is the last day to donate to our YMOS Photo Big Day. And Photo Big Day is basically, we take, all the students in YMOS go and take photos of different species of birds, and you can pledge a certain amount per bird species, and that all gets donated this year to the Maryland Biodiversity Project. And also you can donate to YMOS in general. This is all on the YMOS website. That's George. He wants to do Okay, so what is the World Series of Birding? So it's a big day event. It's the biggest big day event in New Jersey. It's always held in Cape May County. It's a fundraiser for New Jersey Audubon. And the goal is to see as many species of birds as you can in the second Saturday of May, which is World Migratory Bird Day, in New Jersey. This is timed with peak shorebird and warbler migration in the Delaware Bay. They've got categories. There's the conservation category, which are teams that are less competitive. There's the adult category, which is the most competitive. And then there are the youth teams. There's 4 divisions. Division A is elementary school, B is middle school, C is high school, and D is carbon free, which is biking.
Wow.
So I've done the middle school category 3 times. So here's the rules. There's the 95% rule, which is a standard big day rule, where 95% of your final total must be identified by all members of the team. So for example, if you are up to 100 species, you have 5 slots kind of to fill with birds that not everyone saw. but you can't just have one person see it. It still has to be seen by everyone other than one person. Now there's a lot of restrictions to make sure that you don't get too high of a total. There's no playback, there's no thermal scopes, microphones, no identification of birds outside the field. That's actually why we don't have very many bird photos, because our George advises us not to take our cameras so that if we're seen taking photos, it doesn't look like we're cheating. So we don't take very many photos on the World Series. For middle school, we also have a time restriction.
Wow.
So instead of it being 24 hours, midnight to midnight, it's 3 a.m. to 10 p.m. And that's a big restriction. We could have had a lot more birds if we had that extra 5 hours. And you can only use 4 contiguous counties. All the high school teams can use the entire state, which allows you to get stuff like black-capped chickadee, ruffed grouse, all the things that you'll see up here in New York.
It's really lovely.
Oh, and the 4 contiguous counties one of them has to be Cape May. So you're basically restricted to that peninsula. So you get, less known species. Like here's a map. This is Cape May County. It acts like a funnel for migrants.
Wow.
And these are the counties that we typically do on a World Series. This is Cape May, Cumberland, and Atlantic. So here's the history. The World Series was created by Pete Dunn. The first one was in 1984. And the winning team was Pete Dunn, Roger Torrey Peterson,
Wow.
Pete Wyszynski, Bill Boyle, and David Sibley. And they got 201 species.
Wow.
And the highest ever total was in 2003 with 231 series. 231. Why is this? Did I skip something? No, basic strategy. Okay. Here's the basics. Scouting is really important. Basically, you go up there a couple days or even up to a week or two beforehand to find your birds before you have to find your birds. So if there's this one eastern phoebe that lives on the back of the Belle Plaine Visitor Center, yeah. And it's always been there every year, and it's our best spot for eastern phoebe because when you don't have time to listen, it's actually hard to get a lot of these common birds. Great blue heron is one of the hardest birds.
Eastern bluebird as well.
Eastern bluebird too.
Not really stupid things that I could get into.
So yeah, you're gonna look for breeders, residents, and you're gonna find nests. So then you can just go see the nest in 30 seconds, get back in the car. Yeah, you're gonna go for around 200 species for a high school team. Middle school teams don't get 200 species. They never have. But so it's really not worth it to spend very much time at all on any one species. And so planning is actually the most important thing rather than the execution. I mean, execution is also important. Time's valuable. The more area you can get through, the more birds you get. Most. So here's everyone. It's a planning session. This is all the teams. There's carbon free. This is everyone gone carbon free. And then there's Venus and you.
There's a machete in that photo. Right?
I have a machete. I don't know why I have this. Actually, I do know why I have a machete. I have a machete because Nara gave it to me. So this is my first team, the YMOS Yellow-billed Lunatics. This was captained by Nara. And then me, Cassidy Frazier, Joseph Piniatakis. YMOS Northern Scannets, which was my second team. I captained this one with Joseph, Kevin Atchmeyer, and Caleb Kurlancic. And then YMOS No Regrets, which we got the merch for, which was me, Samuel Talley, Vitas, and Andrew Dugas. So here's the YMOS Yellow-billed Lunatics.
Oh,
As you can see, we got 6th grade me over here.
you're so cute.
And Nara got here. Yeah, and short. Yeah, that too. Nara captained this one. And we only scouted for 3 days. And you can see here's our map. A lot of it's in Cape Island. We really didn't spend that much time up above Cape Island. You can see a couple of spots. There's Belle Plaine National Forest, or State Forest up here. And this is Turkey One. No, that's Heiserville. I lied. Here's some more photos. This is George. He's our mentor. And here's us next to the leaderboards. And you can see here the Pete Dunlins, okay? The Pete Dunlins here, they got 149 species. But luckily, I remember George telling us the day before, you probably won't win because the Pete Dunlins will be there to beat you. Because they live in New Jersey and they're sponsored by Pete Dunn. But don't worry, we beat them. It's fine. Now, this is my second team, which I captained. We ended up with 156 species. And we scouted for 3 days. And you can see there's a lot more points on this map because we got more efficient at getting through these spots in way less time. Here's us planning. I think we've got the map open here. And we're all sitting here with our coffee. And this is the night before, I'm pretty sure. Prepping for the road series. Here's us this is Coral Avenue. Coral Avenue is the best sea watching spot in Cape May. You can look out over the Delaware Bay there. Here's Aaron. He was the Turkey Point counter in 2024. And he's currently the Cape May morning flight counter. So he's very good. This is George. And then here's us up on stage. Now, here's YMOS No Regrets, which also I captained. And we ended up with 191 species, which is, no, 190 species. I lied.
190.
I lied because we left out some things. But we got 190 species, which is one less than the middle school world record. Except that was achieved back when they were able to use all 24 hours and the entirety of the state. So this is the best total since middle school was limited down to being a geographically restricted area. Now, there's a lot of spots on Cape Island. There's a lot of spots up here. We added in Brigantine National Wildlife Refuge, or it was called Brigantine National Wildlife Refuge. And so we've got a lot of spots here, but there's a big hole. There's a gap here. Now, this gap was because of Donald J. Trump. Now, we were told a couple days before the World Series by Jonathan Irons, and he told us that he talked to some drug addict on the side of the street, and he was telling him about this Trump rally he was going to. And so we looked into it, and there was going to be a Trump rally in Wildwood. This is Wildwood right here.
Oh my goodness.
And so we had to redesign our route just a couple days before the World Series because we got 100,000 people came and there was traffic all through here. So that was an interesting thing. And so we ended up basically, see, this is the Trump rally, nothing there. Normally we would go to this place called the Wetlands Institute, which is here. Avalon Sea Watch right there. Nope, none of that. Getting Wimbrel right there. Nope, not gonna happen. So we ended up doing this, and we generally the night before the World Series, you do want to get some sleep. And since you're waking up at midnight to go prepare and get to your spots, you generally want to go to sleep by like 5 p.m. That did not happen. And as we were replacing our spots that would fill in for Trump, you can see here we've got the spreadsheet. We had the spreadsheet open, and we had low tide marked with high tide. We had sunrise. We had NFCs, nocturnal flight calls. The amount of time we had to do nocturnal flight calls.
Wow.
Black-billed cuckoo, you basically only get this in a nocturnal flight call. Luckily, we got that at 3 a.m.
Wow.
So that's good. And we had all this, and even this like well-planned thing doesn't end up working out in the end. We actually, I think we were above time, right?
Actually, we were pretty behind at Brigantine. Or no, I think we tried to get south earlier, so then we spent like 45
Yeah,
minutes.
I think we decided that
It's just
the
2
south
hours.
the south was doing really good that day, and so we decided that it would be better to, instead of spending time at these upper spots, head straight back to the island. And that did end up, and a couple of days before, we learned about the Ocean City Welcome Center in Ocean City in New Jersey, not Ocean City in Maryland. And it's a bridge, and under the bridge there is this big, it's like a stand of trees, a very short stand of trees, but it has nesting white ibis, glossy ibis, white-faced ibis, we didn't get that one, little blue heron, tricolored heron, both night herons. Anything else? Are there? Oh, and, huh?
Is the brand?
Yeah, and then it's also our only reliable spot for brant because it's in the salt marshes out on the eastern
Really?
side. And it's late for brant. This is in May. So the brants are heading north. You really have to be careful not to miss brant. We only got like 2. Yeah, we didn't get very many brants. So here's Cape Island. This is the focal point for any non-high school team. Actually, even for high school teams, is that spot. Because here, this is Cape May Point, little town. And around there is Coral Avenue. Coral Avenue allows you to see, this is the Atlantic here. That's Delaware Bay. And so all these migrants are going to come down here because this is, or actually they're going up this way.
Right.
And they'll hit this and they'll stop because they just had a long flight across the Delaware Bay. And they'll be landing here at Higbee. They'll land at South Cape May Meadows. They'll land at CMBO Northwood. Some of the really good birds we've gotten from places like this in the morning are, we got curlew sandpiper in 2023 at the Meadows. We've gotten basically every warbler at Higbee. You can get basically all of your available ducks from Coral Avenue. Get gannet, all those things are only going to be on this island. And this isn't a very big island. It's like you can basically walk the rest of the whole island if you wanted to lose the World Series and waste all your time. So here, this is at the lighthouse, which is here. No, I lied. It's here. Here is the lighthouse. And the lighthouse is where we got out of the car, we were joking because some people had seen swallowtail's kite around the Cape May Island. We were joking, oh, we're gonna get swallowtail's kite right after we get out of the car. Oh, we got out of the car. Thermal, there's like 30 broad-winged hawks, some black vultures. Oh, and then wait a second, there's a swallowtail kite in that. This is actually the only bird photo we have in this presentation.
Was it taken with a cell phone?
No, we took it with a camera. We had our cameras, we just didn't want to be looking down at them so much. Yeah, so we had a picture of this one. And then the SD card got destroyed. So we're gonna ignore that. Now, there are a couple perils of the World Series. Now, this is Reed's Beach. It's the only spot that we get red knot at. And actually, we didn't get red knot because the day before the World Series, there were hundreds of red knots. And the day of the World Series, they all decided to leave. So it was just like a couple 1,000 laughing gulls. We did get our only ring-billed gull of the day there, though. So that's good. But yeah, the laughing gulls had West Nile. So that's not great.
Oh, God.
And both me and Vetus ended up with West Nile virus after the World Series. So, but it was worth it. So,
Did your parents think so?
yeah. So here is the level 3. This is the youth division for YMOS. Oh yeah. So I'll tell a story about that. So this was 2022, my first year. I was on Yellowville Lunatics. Circadian Flycatchers was Aaron Reb, Jonathan Irons, Daniel Irons, all the really good people. As you can see, they got 207. So they beat the original World Series team. But we won all the categories that year. This team was captained by my friend Gabe. Now, he is an interesting character, and I'm not really sure how they let him get away with that. But somehow they did. So 2023, we again sweep the whole thing. We had a slightly more normal name for our carbon-free team that year. And then 2024, oh wait, they're not all YMOS teams. The Pete Dunlins got in there. Why? Because a certain West Virginia birder, who we're not going to name, he's very bad. And he was on one of our teams, and he fumbled the bag. So we lost that year, and we lost our sweep. But we did almost beat the Pete Dunlins as a middle school team.
Which, by the way, they have the whole state.
They have the whole state and they have all 24 hours.
I looked at their trip report. They had like every warbler, golden wing, cerulean. They always got black-cap chickadee, and they had they have like an adult team scout for them. So I mean,
Oh yeah, they had the Cornell Redheads. The Cornell Redheads were historically very good, because they sent their professors, their ornithology professors, to the World Series. Now that changed in 2004 because, well, they had something more important to focus on, which was the rediscovery of the ivory-billed woodpecker. Now they just send out their students, so they're less good now. They're still pretty good, but they were the ones who scouted for the P-Dom ones. We do all our scouting by ourselves, though. We're not outsourced labor. And so here is all of the YMOS teams at the different on the stages. Here's Teddy. Teddy, you're there somewhere.
Where's Teddy?
There's Teddy. And so you can see George is in here with his yellow hat, which I have my yellow hat, which we have 5 yellow hats, which were made for the yellow-billed lunatics, my first team. And there are 5 of them in existence. So that's kind of cool. And then we can see fantastic fledglings here, lunatics here, and circadian flycatchers. You can just see George has done this every year for the last 30 years. And somehow he's managed to create these teams that beat all of these native New Jerseyans. Like the World Series generally has 500 participants and around 90 to 100 teams.
Wow.
We've had teams from Malaysia come. There have been teams from all over the US. And yet Maryland has the best program out of all of them. So now we'll get to the part where you can participate. So you can actually compete in the World Series if you want to. It's on the New Jersey Audubon website, always the second Saturday of May. The teams are of 3 to 6 people, and you don't have to compete in the open adult division or for like just Teddy. The kid, actually, I think kids have to compete in the kids division, so that's irrelevant. But for everyone else, you guys can compete in the conservation challenge, which is way less competitive, and you won't get beaten up by Michael O'Brien. So that's good. So yeah, you can participate in any of the level 1 and level 2 categories. Or you can just pledge to a team. This is all a fundraiser for bird conservation. Different teams will be campaigning to see who raises the most money. We don't actually raise very much money because we're kind of bad. But for the good teams in the adult division, they'll raise, I think people have raised up to like $15,000 in one. So you can pledge to a team. You can pledge to help YMOS. Again, we're going to need more donations because the YMOS covers the expenses of the World Series. We cover housing. We cover the actual cost of registering for the World Series for all of the people in YMOS who want to go to the World Series. So the BirdCon is our only fundraiser for YMOS. That's in March, and it's again per species. We always do all of our fundraising through per species, so we actually have to go outside in order to get money.
Make a pledge on the MOS website.
Yeah.
For this one.
If we decided to be bums, we would get no money. So they have to go outside. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Shane has a question. Roshan, you guys doing it next year?
Probably not next year, but the year after, definitely senior year,
Okay.
because AP testing exists, and they're always the same week as the World Series. That's we haven't done it in a couple of years. Just leave it at that.
Sorry, Zoom people. I was just asking Roshan if he's gonna do it next year, 2026, and he just said that AP testing is that.
AP testing is that week.
weekend.
Yeah, so that's unfortunate.
When you leave the field, if you've got a species you're not sure of, that's, you can't count it, right? Next day you say, I know what it was. That's too late there, right?
Too late, yeah. The award ceremony is the day right after the World Series.
Yeah, right.
So people will be going and you just gotta decide. You're either gonna put it down or you're not gonna put it down. Rare birds get vetted. They don't get vetted very much though. So, like, we had long-billed dowitcher, and that was fine. We didn't have a picture or anything. It's all okay. If Tom Reed, it's basically Tom Reed's decision. If Tom Reed likes you, he'll let you get away with it.
I have a question.
Okay.
So who's your driver and are you telling them, meet us at the end of this field to save time? How does that work?
Yeah, so the captain will sit with the driver, and even if your team is old enough to drive, you always want to have a driver because the amount of time that you lose from getting out of the car. I remember last year we had this whole thing about what car we were going to use because one of the cars, the doors closed super slowly and the trunk had like that slow close feature. We didn't like that because we need to be able to slam the doors to get in and out fast enough. And so the driver is generally under like pretty much like they're literally there to drive and they have to be very focused. So we've had parents drive. The first year we had a parent and George was sitting with us. So George could help us make decisions because we were all new to this. But now we haven't had that. So it's always a parent.
So when you're planning your route, is there a possibility where you can have other teams at the same spot and piggyback off of that person's sighting? How does that work?
So all of our YMOS teams, we plan all at the same time, basically. We all go to some meeting spot to plan our routes. Generally, we won't end up being in the same place because elementary school teams will be starting much later. The high school teams will be starting in the north, so we won't encounter them. And carbon free is carbon free, so they don't really leave the island. But for other teams that aren't part of YMOS, we'll run into them a lot. I remember my first World Series. Remember the Pete Dunlins? The Pete Dunlins were at our first spot at 3 a.m. They were sitting there and they were trash talking us. So we had to prepare for this. Yeah, they do that a lot. They don't like the Pete Dunlins.
Can I get Danny on the way to Greg?
So when you're planning to go to a spot, are you going for a certain amount of time or a certain amount of birds, or how do you decide when to leave?
We have a number of spreadsheets. It's basically all spreadsheets. This is just one of the spreadsheets. And you can see here we've got a maximum duration. So we don't want to be late, we want to be early. If we can get out of a place, if we can get we have all of our target birds on another spreadsheet per site, by how we're going to get them, like what method, visual, audio, anything like that. And we've got drive times between sites. So you can see here, Turkey Point. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Turkey Point was our first spot on our no regrets team at 3 a.m. But we get there and the road is flooded. So we ended up cutting that and going to Cedar Swamp Creek instead. But that actually was probably a good thing because Cedar Swamp Creek got us a great blue heron. So I think that might have been a wrong heron. So yeah, we plan it all with spreadsheets.
And we had another spreadsheet with like all the species on it, and then like all the spots attached to it. And this is like a really massive spreadsheet that we had like in like
We've been making this since December
yeah.
of the year before.
Wow.
George has already put together teams for next year, and we start planning about now.
Greg.
Oh, good.
What do you do about food?
Now if you take a look at the stops, oh, Starbucks. We've got a lot of Starbucks in stops. Gotta get coffee throughout the day. Otherwise you're gonna fall asleep. And then that's not good. If you fall asleep, it's over. Yeah, you're cooked.
So I can't remember if you said already, but I'm gonna ask you a little bit of intel. Before I say that though, in talking with George Radcliffe over the years, to be perfectly honest, the thing he wants most is for everybody to have a great experience. He loves that he has champions, but he loves that he gets young birders out there, so he wants more and to teach them. I can't remember if you talked about intel during the day, what was acceptable or not acceptable. So eBird, exceptional listings, you bump into somebody on the trail. Well, what's the intel like during the
Colluding,
what's allowed and what's not allowed?
colluding is not allowed. If you've got a specific team in mind who you're like feeding information to and from, that's not allowed. eBird, if there's a sighting that comes in on eBird, that's okay. I remember there was an evening grosbeak visiting someone's feeders, and we wasted a good 45 minutes waiting for that evening grosbeak. Biggest mistake of the day. We could have probably gotten 200 if we weren't for that evening grosbeak.
So we rushed that break because we spent way too much time
Yeah.
looking at that goose.
But
Really goose.
it's okay. And you're so no colluding. However, there's a group me that's for all the World Series participants, and you can put stuff on that group me, which feeds it to everyone. So you can give information to everyone or no one. It's kind of at the
Oh, that's good. You do everyone or you do
no one. Oh, and if there's you can't have specific colluding, but like light tier colluding is allowed. Like if you're like bumping into like your teams, other teams in YMOS, like you're saying, we saw this bird at X place.
This presentation was great. I'm wondering when you're gonna come out with your book on birding the Cape May area.
That's Pete Dunn's job. I think he already wrote a book on that. But we don't like Pete Dunn, so he sponsors the Pete Dunn ones.
You couldn't tell from the name.
So Wendy did the birding that you're overhead, when you're listening, did you say that you?
Oh, nocturnal flight calls.
Nocturnal flight calls. Thank you very much.
At all of our, like you can see here, we've got these blacked out times
Yeah.
with NFCs. So this is all of the times that we're going to be getting nocturnal flight call birds or like random nocturnal birds, like king rail we get during this time. We get black-billed cuckoo at Tuckahoe WMA because they migrate. Here's Tuckahoe. I'm pretty sure they nest in Belle Plaine State Forest. So this is Tuckahoe Marsh, I'm pretty sure. And they'll migrate through here going to Belle Plaine. And so you can get them as like the little call in the middle of the night.
So I wonder.
We also got gray-cheeked thrush and palm warbler with that.
So do you have like speakers that you carry on top of your car? I mean, how do you?
There's actually no listening devices allowed. So it's just ear. Because they deemed it to be, they also deemed thermals to be too much of an advantage because you know what VAM is?
No.
Visual active migration is where you point a thermal scope at the sky and then spotlight the birds that you see in the thermal scope. And they decided that was too much of a financial, technological advantage. So they don't allow microphones or thermal scopes.
So are these places on top of hills?
No, most of them are down in the marshes. You literally just cup your ears and point your head to the sky. Or I think we climbed on top of the car a couple times to get a little higher, extra couple of feet.
Very quiet out there.
Yeah, but it's very quiet at these spots. These remote marshes, there's no one there. There's no like car noise or anything. Unless if you hear a car noise, you know there's another team coming.
So I do have a question for each of you. How did you each get started in birding? And are you keeping a life list in what is your town?
You go first.
I got into birding as one of my neighbors had a feeder once, and I saw the feeder. I'm like, oh cool, I kind of want one of these. So my mom bought a feeder, and I just saw the birds at the feeder. I'm like, it would be kind of interesting if I could identify these. So yeah, that's kind of just how I got into birding. And as for the life list, I honestly don't remember my total, but for world it's like 690 something.
Wow.
Honestly, pretty low compared to his. But for US, it's like 526 or something.
Which is higher than mine. I started. Is this working? Yeah. Okay. I started birding in really in 2018 when I went to Zimbabwe, because I decided, oh, it would be cool to see all this wildlife. So I started taking pictures of stuff. And then after that, I learned about eBird and I started eBirding. And then it was basically the pandemic hit at the perfect time. You know, it's rare that the pandemic was a good thing, but this time it was because we were out of school for so long. And so I would go out with my grandmother every morning to a different spot in Howard County mostly, just getting birds. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And then we learned about YMOS from a barnacle goose in Delaware, or not Delaware, the barnacle goose in DC. And we chased it and we met Jim Brighton there. And Jim Brighton told us about his friend George Radcliffe. And so then that's how that happened. And my life list is 10 or something. 8, 10-ish. In my US is 4, 6, 4. It's like 468. 468, yeah, something like that.
Oh, I have another question.
Okay.
So you seem like very nice young gentlemen. What do you aspire to do for a career when you grow
That's a
up?
great question.
Conservation biology. All right, you guys.
To be honest, the only answer I can give that's honest is I don't know.
You have to say economist, which is a little cringe though. So I realized it was a little sad. So
Numbers and analytical thinking, that's fantastic.
Any other questions? Oh, Danny has a question.
So in about 12 hours, I'm actually driving up to Cape May.
oh,
So my question to you is, what is your favorite birding spot of all the ones that you went to? If you have several.
how many can you pick?
As many as you think are
Okay.
the better places.
Okay, if you want to maximize species at this time of year, I'd recommend staying on the island. So here's the hot spots on the island. This is Higbee. Higbee is the best spot for morning flight. Okay, it's December. There's not very much migration, but for whatever migration there is, Higbee is really the place to do it. The birds will come down. You'll see them at morning flight. The Cape May at Coral Avenue down here is like the other place. You can watch over the sea. Aaron will probably be there. Say hi to Aaron. He has a top hat on, so it's easy to find. But he's probably like one of the best birds on the East Coast. So if there's something there, they'll get Townsend solitaires there. They get Pacific balloons, basically everything. Another good spot is actually this is in the Trump area. Let's go back to a map of actual Cape May. Okay, Avalon Sea Watch, which is in the town of Avalon. It's where Daniel watches his Atlantic Ocean area. That's where you'll get red-billed or you won't get it, but he gets red-billed tropic bird. Because he's Daniel. Anywhere else notable? South Cape May Meadows. Go there. It's good.
Observatory.
I'd say like for like coral and stuff. There's like all the basic winter ducks there, but you also sometimes see them in like the state park and
Oh yeah, CMPSB.
and like there's occasionally like random like Swainson socks or like other things that just drift around and if you have like random spots in Cape May, like Hidden Valley, like the Veedery and stuff, or like at the state park. And also with Cape May, it's a very small area. So it's really not that hard to get to all the sites.
Look for that guy. Top hat guy.
Yeah, that's Aaron.
That's Aaron.
But yeah, just like the whole area is pretty good and you get a lot on just the island if you just like bird around the beaches there and look at the coasts. Especially around this time of year with all the like ducks, longspurs, and like all these random rarities that just move through whenever there's like strong wind.
I think right now, right there, the conch spurs at the Veedery.
Maybe.
I thought I saw the conch spur at the Veedery on the eBird. So I'm still subscribed to Cape May Bird Alerts. So just because, I mean, eventually I'm going to go back. So.
Any more questions? Okay, well, thank you so much, Roshan and Denise.
I supposed to take a picture of it? Oh, it's.
Sorry, it was a little short.
Oh, it was great. Okay, am I gonna take a picture of the three of you? Yay. Yay.
Please join us next month. Kevin Heffernan will be speaking about the annual butterfly survey.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's good.